4. Sherry smoothed down the front of her deep purple ruffled top over her jean skirt. She wore wedgie sandals and secured her hair in a low ponytail. She looked decent, not overdressed to sit on a porch and sip wine. She walked into the kitchen. "Hey, Mom, I'm going over to Sam Price's house tonight. His dad is going to give me a crash course in wine." Mom was shaping ground meat into hamburgers for the grill. "Are you sure that's a good idea, to drink wine and then drive home?" She placed the burger on a plate. "I'm just tasting a couple of wines. If I need a ride home, I'll call, okay?" She wiped her hands on a paper towel. "You've spent quite a bit of time out there the last few days." She gave her an inquisitive look. "Have you been enjoying yourself?" "It's been a blast. Digging in the dirt and bringing those beds back to life for Sam and his dad has been therapeutic. It's given me time to think about what I'm going to do after college." Her mom looked at her closely and waited for her to continue. "If it's okay, I'm going to move home for a while and look for a job around here. I want to hold off on the whole CPA thing. Before I jump in, I want to make sure it's what I want to do long term." "We'd love to have you here for as long as you'd want. But I thought you liked accounting." Her eyes met Mom's. It was time to be honest. "No, you and Dad thought it was a solid career choice. I agreed because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I still don't." "Well, it never hurts to have a degree in something that people will always need." She kissed Mom's cheek, relieved to end the conversation. "I won't be late," Mom said. "Have fun and drive careful." "I will." She ran down the steps and paused at the bottom. Sam's truck was parked in the driveway. He lifted his hand and grinned. She stuck her head inside the front door. "Sam picked me up. See you later." Her mom stepped onto the small covered porch before Sherry could get in the truck. "Hi, Sam," she called. "Hi, Mrs. Jones." Sherry climbed into the truck. "I didn't know you were picking me up. Dad thought it was a good idea since you were going to sample wine." He backed out and turned in the direction of his place. With a toot of the horn, they were off. "That's nice he's concerned, but this isn't my first time drinking wine." She gave Sam a smile and hoped he couldn't hear her heart pounding in her chest. "He's always cautious." His eyes roamed over her. "You look pretty." A thrill raced through her body. "I wasn't sure what you wear to taste wine, so I went for comfort." "You always look nice." She could feel her cheeks grow warm. "I was wondering." He looked at her and slowed to turn off the main road. "If you're not busy tomorrow night, do you want to catch a movie or something?" "Yes." The word came out in a rush. "That sounds like fun." "You're not seeing anyone, are you? I mean, at school?" With a shake of her head, she said, "Not anymore." "His loss is my gain." He grinned and touched her hand. "You're not dating anyone either?" She found that hard to believe. He was handsome and smart, and all those muscles. She felt the blush reach her hairline this time. "No, I haven't met anyone I wanted to spend time with until recently." He shot her another heart-quickening smile. It was like that every time he looked at her. He flicked on his blinker and turned under the Crescent Lake Winery sign. But this wasn't the way to the main house. "I wanted to show you something." It was as if he could read her mind. "Okay." "I want you to have the full vine-to-glass experience." "I don't know much about growing grapes." "But you understand and love plants like I do." He slowed the truck as they turned down a dirt lane that looked to be wide enough for a vehicle. He pointed out her window. "Do you see those vines out there?" She nodded. "I love the way they twist and turn and then fan out with the leaves shading the blossoms. It's called the canopy." He stopped the truck and asked, "Walk with me?" She pointed to her shoes. "Will I be okay in these?" "I'll hold your hand." She liked the sound of that. "Then what are we waiting for?" If Sam had suggested to any other girl he had dated to go for a walk and look at vines, they would have looked at him as if he had 3 heads, or he would have brought them out here to have a quickie in the back of the truck. But that wasn't on his mind at the moment. Well, at least not to jump Sherry's bones. She was different. He wanted to take his time and get to know her. She waited next to the truck, and he held out his hand to her. When she took it, the electricity that flowed through their connection was intense. She looked from their joined hands to his face, and her eyes grew bright. She felt it too. "Teach me everything I need to know so I don't look dumb in front of your dad." With a hearty laugh, he said, "I'll never know as much as my father, so don't worry. Besides, he loves explaining every detail. I swear it gives him as big a thrill teaching people about wine as he gets growing grapes." "Well, that's good to know," she said. They strolled down the path and soon were looking at the endless rows of grapes in front of and behind them. Sam held her hand, their fingers intertwined. Her long, slender fingers matched his, but her hands were soft like silk, and his were rough from working the fields. "Do you like what you do?" He wasn't sure what she was asking him. Work for Dad or work in the fields? Both. His gaze took in everything that surrounded them. With pride, he said, "Someday this will all be mine. I have to understand every facet of the business. If I don't, then the vineyard will be like old grapes. It'll wither and die. I'd never let the family legacy down like that." "Is this what you wanted to do?" Ah, now he understood. She would be going into a career to please her parents. "I've always wanted to work the land and grow the family business. It's in my blood." He half turned. "When you grow up surrounded by all of this, you're either going to love it or do something the total opposite." "What would have happened if you didn't want it? Would your dad have forced you?" "I've been following Dad around since I could walk. Mom used to laugh and say we were two peas in the same pod. I've never wanted anything else." "That's good, since you didn't have any sisters or brothers to carry on if you didn't want to." He took a step closer to the vine. "These were the promise my parents made to each other in the future. They planted them before I was born. They've been nurtured by sun, rain, and the soil we walk on. This section is the future of Crescent Lake Winery." She tilted her head to one side. "Will you do the same? Plant new vines for the hope of the next generation to come?" He nodded. "I will. Hopefully I'm lucky enough to have a bunch of kids, and at least one will love this place as much as I do. I want to pass on the roller coaster ride to a son or daughter." She brushed back a stray lock of hair and looked at the ground. Kids. That was a little much for them just hanging out. But at least he knew what he wanted for his future. "Do you come out here and just walk around?" He was not surprised she was intuitive. This part of the vineyard was his special spot. It was here where he felt closest to his mom. It was as if she were a part of the vines. They were his legacy, and even from a young age he had understood that. "I do. And the season doesn't matter. I talk to Mom when I'm here. She and Dad planted these rows by hand. It was something she wanted to do so that she too could be connected to the land." She sounds like an amazing woman. He looked away so Sherry couldn't see the tears he blinked away. He cleared the lump from his throat. "She was the best." She hugged his arm to her body. "Thank you for showing me." His lips twitched. "We should get up to the house. Dad's going to wonder where we're hiding." Looking at the 4 glasses that Donald had placed in front of her gave Sherry a moment of pause. Maybe it was a good thing Sam had picked her up. If she drank all kinds of different wines, she'd be hammered. Also, in front of them was a platter of crackers and cheese. At least there would be something to soak up part of the alcohol. She chewed her lower lip and glanced at Sam, who sat next to her. Donald returned to the kitchen. Quietly, she said, "If I drink all this, you're going to be carrying me to the truck. I'm a lightweight." His breath tickled when he whispered in her ear, "You're sampling, not drinking. There's a difference, trust me." Funny, she did trust him. She was at ease here. Doc and Mo came bounding out of the doggy door and ran down the back steps, only to come back and drop 2 balls at Sherry's feet. Sam pointed to the floor. Down. Ever obedient, they dropped to their bellies. They're attached to you. I like them too. Before she could continue, Donald came out with a corkscrew and 2 buckets. What are they for? We'll store the bottles of white in them to keep them chilled. What about the reds? Those are best at room temperature. She tapped her temple. Got it. Sam placed an arm over the back of her chair like it was the most natural thing for him to do. She smiled to herself. This was turning into an interesting evening, with a date tomorrow. Donald sat down and gave her a welcoming smile. Sherry, we're going to start with white wines and move to the reds. But before we do, tell me, do you have a preference? I've had some Lambrusco before, but nothing else really. And what did you think? He leaned forward. His eyes sparkled with interest. Well, it was sweet and kind of yuck. Donald laughed at her description. Sam, your young lady shows promise. That is not what I would classify as a great wine, but most people do drink it, and with ice cubes. He pretended to shudder. Blasphemy. He poured a tiny amount of the white wine in their glasses. It was nothing more than a sip. Sherry relaxed. She could sip and not embarrass herself. She looked from Donald to Sam. Now what do I do? Sam pecked her on the cheek. Have fun.